All right, and then we got to the main event, Anthony.
Which was the final Rumble of the night, featuring the men.
Well, look, I actually didn't mind the first two, and AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura started. I actually thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that was a good choice.
Two good, solid workers.
Yeah,
good
choice.
And then, of course, the guy we've been talking about a little bit, it was Austin Theory coming in at the first drop.
Yeah.
So he got a really good, some good exposure in that respect. No real huge surprises other than at the very end in terms of Brock Lesnar coming in.
That wasn't that big of a surprise.
Well, no, not huge, but I mean, it's probably...
I want to know who he bashed up out the back to get the 30th position. Who was meant to be 30 that he knocked out at the back? Because he wouldn't have been scheduled. Because that leaves him a little bit open.
Yeah.
Already had the spot open for him, so you knew what was going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
It would have looked better if somebody had walked out. You give it to a Swami heel, like, I don't know, I'm going to use a Dolph Ziggler would have got 30th position. Yeah. And you should have had him talk about it for the last month that he had 30 position. Yeah. And then he comes out, Lesnar just smashes him on the floor, takes his 30th position and rolls and wins it. And that's, so now it looks like the way they've written it looks like that they knew he was going to lose, so they put him in at 30.
Yeah. You know who would have been the perfect person?
Who would have
been screwed over? Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, you're right.
He would have been perfect to have got screwed over the whole conspiracy thing.
You know what? They should have bought Santino back.
Or someone, just something,
Santino out of 30, and then Santino thinks he can win this thing, he gets smashed by Lesnar.
Yeah, he doesn't even get to the ring.
Doesn't even make it to the ring.
Yeah. Sami Zayn, that would have been good because but they couldn't do it with him.
They had the Knox thing.
Yeah, because of that Knoxfield fella.
And that was a waste of a position.
Yeah.
That was just
bullshit. It's just getting exposure.
Bad Bunny once again come in and worth his weight.
I like him.
I was quite surprised again.
He impresses me. He seriously impresses me.
He does. He could go in and work a match. Like, seriously, he looks like he's been in there all his life.
I did notice one thing that Orton went for him. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
And he held on the ropes, mate. It wasn't going to come out because I think Orton was going to chop the crap out of him. I think. Yes. He just said, "I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to let Orton have anything to do with me here."
There's obviously something there.
Yeah. Orton's like he'd be pissed off that some guy that's a rapper's getting into the Rumble. He'd be pissed about that.
I'd be more pissed off with that Knoxfield or.
Yeah. I'm surprised that he made it out without being chopped by everybody.
Yeah, well,
I would have kept him in until Omos was there and let him lay a few big chops down and just chop the shit out of him and then just dropped him over the top rope.
There'd be something in the contract about.
I was
about being a wee bit protected. When he came out, I loved it. I thought, oh, cool. I actually am. I'd never heard of him before last year.
Same.
And I wouldn't even if he was singing on the radio, I wouldn't have a clue who he was or anything. But I'm actually quite a fan of his wrestling. I think he's really good. I tell you what, he shows a few up.
He does, actually. He does. He's doing a really good job for a guy.
You know who I think he shows up the most, and I think it's an embarrassment to him, is that Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah. Dominic, I
don't see him making it.
No. Oh, he's made it technically, mate.
Wow.
He's made it. He's made it technically. He's in the WWE. He's a former tag team champion.
With his father.
Right? Yeah, right. I mean, if I got that, if that was my whole career, I'd be wrapped.
Yeah, but you could work. I don't think he can.
But I'm saying is, I'd be wrapped. If I got to that point, I'd be like ecstatic. To me, he's made it,
It's like me. I thought I'd made it when I got to MC the Wrestle Riot tour. Yeah, it was a one and only, and so I'm happy with that. But shit.
I don't think he's.
I'd like to be remembered for more than just that.
Yeah, but I'm saying is this with Dominic Mysterio, mate. Vince must love his dad.
Oh, yeah. They're the only father and son WWE tag team champs. So
I can't think of any other. I can't think of anyone else.
Well, not in WWE. There would be an NWA and stuff.
I wonder if the Funks, like
I was just thinking
Dory
the Funks
Senior
or the
and Dory Junior,
Guerreros. Or the Guerreros.
or the Guerreros, yeah, maybe Gory and one of the older brothers.
One of the.
I've always said this storyline with Dominic is to be he is really Eddie's son. They should run that storyline.
Yeah, maybe they're not comfortable with it though, from a family point of view. I mean, I know, but
that would make it look at him. He looks like a Guerrero.
Yeah,
he does. He does look like a Mysterio.
Well, he doesn't wrestle like a Guerrero.
Well, you could throw some things in there, give him the three amigos, this and that.
No, I'm saying he doesn't have the skill of any. He
doesn't have any of the Guerreros because they're all good workers. No, Hector, Mondo, Chavo, freaking Gory, Eddie, they're all great workers. There wasn't a bad one, really.
Not really.
There was no duds. The old Gory shot full loads on all those boys. They done a great job. So it made you laugh, Pete.
Yeah, it's good. I don't expect that from you. That sort of smuts my territory. But like, I mean, it was really, really no great surprises. I mean, Bad Bunny was a bit of a surprise. Oh, okay.
He was actually surprised. Yeah, I didn't think he was going to be there.
And as I said to you, the reports were up until they decided to do the thing with Lesnar was that Riddle was going to win it,
and I don't get that.
Or Randy Orton in his hometown. Now
I don't get that neither. Why not an Owens?
Would make a bit of sense if
why not an Owens?
Well,
you know what I'm saying. I mean, like for me, like Orton's at the end, right? Is at the end of what? Yeah, he had to be close to. So yeah, they reckon. I did read a write up on Inside Pro Wrestling that he's going to reduce doing the because of his back and that he's having neck and back issues and that. So he's starting to run to the end. If Orton's got to be 40.
Easy,
easy, right? So he's starting to run towards the end, right? Obviously, so pushing him in against Lesnar or Reigns or whatever don't make any sense.
Or Lashley,
Lashley, right? Same thing with Riddle. He's not going to draw, and I don't think he's going to survive against either one of those guys that we're talking about, right? I think they'll all eat him, monster him, right? I think Owens could hold his own with those guys.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I reckon Orton could, but the age thing. Who else? If it wasn't Lesnar, who else would you pick, Pete? And you'd say that's the guy I'm going to put in WrestleMania, and he's going to draw me 70,000 people.
Yeah.
Who's that person that?
They haven't got one. I mean, there was talk of Braun Strowman coming in for the Rumble.
Yeah, but
but you couldn't have him in the main event against Lashley for the world title. I mean, you got two absolute monsters, but I'm not a big fan of Strowman's wrestling.
No, he's not a great wrestler, no.
But so say if you've got Reigns and Lesnar, and we know we've got that, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But
McIntyre?
I can't honestly put my hand on my heart off the top of my head and say Lashley versus who. That would be a real, almost like a double main event, because I'll have one on the Saturday night, one on the Sunday night over there. So I don't know who you put with Lashley now.
Lashley is a bit difficult. The only one I can really see with Lashley, and it's a bit of a repeat of, was it last year's WrestleMania, which would be McIntyre.
Yeah,
The other one really is Owens.
Owens, yeah.
Or Rollins.
Well, Rollins would make a bit of sense given because if he came out in the Shield gimmick again. Well, they don't have to do that again.
I don't think he'd need to do that. I think he did that to get underneath.
Yeah. There was a whole psychological.
Yeah.
I liked it, as I said early in the show. I thought it was good.
I think Rollins has got the brains and the ability, brains and the ability to out wrestle and out psych out Lashley.
Yeah.
But who's the heel and who's the face? That's
I think you'd probably find Owens would end up being the face.
Yeah, that's Owens. See, that's what I'm saying. Is with Reigns, with Rollins, he's a heel because he does a lot of that swami, friggin' well psychological stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and he's always trying to get underneath someone's skin and that kind of thing, and looking at botching in the armor. So, what is Lashley now? Is he heel or face? That's not even defined. We can't even define who's heel and face here.
Yeah.
I mean, the main event, the real main event of WrestleMania, the real main event, which will be Reigns and Lesnar.
Absolutely.
We definitely got heel and face.
Yeah. So this is sort of like the semi-main, even though it'll be a main on that night. But
I'll throw a wild hair in.
Ooh,
right.
Yes.
Right. What about Omos? Omos and freaking VIP or MVP, right? MVP, right? Stabs Lashley in the back and ends up managing Omos and gets in the belt. And then they run that to WrestleMania. Don't have to. That's
I know, yeah. Well,
I mean, traditionally you don't like to put the belt on big guys.
No,
but it's a wild hair.
It's more like an ingrowing here. In the butt.
That's right.
I've had one, but yeah. I don't know if he could keep up.
He wouldn't have to. He's just got to put the pressure on him and play a big man's game and let Lashley do the run spots. It's not that hard to pull this match off. The match is not hard to pull off.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, the hardest thing to pull off in that match will be if you run it that way and you want to make Lashley a face, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to give him an opponent that almost looks like it's the immovable object versus the irresistible force, right? So really almost is the immovable object at the moment. There's not much around with him.
Yeah.
Right? He's got a great run and a great push. It took 6 or 7 people to throw him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So he's, right. If MVP decided to stab, as in what Heyman's just done, stab Lashley in the back because he considers Lashley to be a bit of a loser because he would have lost that match, this and that, and I'm going to go with the real money. If he wanted to pull it this way, and he reforms Shelton Benjamin, the other guy, with Almost, and creates their own little clique, and now it's Lashley, which Lashley, for me, is a face. It's not a heel.
Yeah.
He's an all-American, former US soldier.
Yeah.
He's not. He doesn't even talk like a heel.
No, not really. Yeah.
No. So, you could have a whole black faction there, African-American faction, and an African-American hero fighting those bad dudes.
Let's think again. See the WrestleMania things at Texas.
Yeah.
Is there any Texans that? There's not really any Texans that. I'm just trying to think where they might come because they've really left it very open. Like,
there's another one for you that could happen.
Yeah.
Main event, Reigns and Lashley. Reigns and Heyman. Lesnar's by himself. Main event, main night, main match. It looks like Lesnar's going to get ripped off. Breaking of the glass. Runs out, takes care of Heyman, evens the odds up. Leslie gets Reigns, pins him 1, 2, 3.
Well, he's promoting
Texas.
WrestleMania, so I wouldn't be in the slightest bit surprised if they announce him as what do they do, the host or the
host or special.
What they do that thing last year? They did Hogan, and that went off.
Yeah, that was terrible.
That was horrible.
You could see the tension between him and. He didn't want to stand on the same stage.
No.
But you could set off WrestleMania big if you think that all right, Lesnar's going to lose here. The numbers are against him.
I would almost put money on that Stone Cold will do something.
Yeah.
So, and of course, the other big famous Texan they've got still on their books is JBL.
It hasn't got the impact.
No. But I mean, he might do.
But you know who could be in Texas if they went for a dual host.
Yeah.
Let me look at Booker T.
Oh, cool.
Booker T's from Houston, mate. He's a Houston boy.
Yeah.
So you got to look at Booker T.
Yeah, forgot about. Yeah, and he's still working.
Yeah, you got the Undertaker, which is technically still on the books. He's a Texan.
Yeah.
Don't know if they want him talking on that, but yeah, he's talking everywhere else. So why would you not have him talking on that? So there's a lot of people. But if you wanted to finish WrestleMania off right,
Yeah.
you know, you could do it. You could have it. You could even have. There's lots of things you could do. There's lots of things you can do. The only thing is the really sticking point is what you're going to do with Lashley.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I don't know what you do with them. I mean, there's no actual clear standout. Yeah, this is where it's going to go. Match opponent.
Well, we're going to have to hinge that on
the pay-per-view in
Saudi
Arabia.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a number one contenders match or something. Or
well, it is. I think that's what I believe. Reading about it, it's going to be the contenders for the other belt. That's what I believe. And remember, we haven't even spoken about the Intercontinental or US belts here, neither.
No, which you got Damian Priest and Shinsuke. Yeah.
And who's going to take them on?
Well, Damian Priest, who's he sort of?
He's not really outstandingly feuding with anyone at the moment.
No, and Shinsuke's only a bit more with who's he with now? He's well, Sami Zayn's still got is it an Intercontinental match? He's still got one of those matches. He won, that.
So that's against Shinsuke, isn't it? He's the Intercontinental
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could probably go Zayn and
see. This is future-wise. Is that Braith Priest? Not that. Is that Damian Priest? He's a guy of the future too.
Oh, I like him. Yeah.
He's a guy of the future.
Yeah. But again, just trying to think who you might put him with in the Mania.
Look, you could put him just against anyone. I don't think it would really matter at that point. You could put him in there with Sheamus. You could put him in.
Well, do you put him in there with Austin Theory, and Theory takes the belt? And although you don't want to kill Priest off yet.
Yeah, a bit early.
Okay.
I don't think I dropped the belt off Priest at the moment.
No, not yet. No.
Because what brand is he on again?
Is he on SmackDown? No, Raw.
He's on Raw. And that's where Lashley is Raw?
Yeah.
That belt?
Yeah.
See, potentially those two guys going at each other could be good too later on in the year. Around, yeah, I reckon. Yeah. If you run this to say, you wouldn't do it now, but you run it until SummerSlam. You could do like what they did with Hogan and the Warrior. Yeah, we are talking about that. What I'm saying is that was whatever anyone says about that match. WrestleMania 6 is probably the most successful WrestleMania in the history.
You reckon?
I reckon so. If you look at finances and people that were there and that kind of that.
3 was the best ever.
3 was the best as a view. Yeah. But if you look at the main event and the setup of the main event of 6 was brilliant.
Yeah.
Hogan putting him over in the end and that kind of thing, and if as we all know, if the Warrior wasn't such a dickhead, right? We would be saying the Warrior now is probably one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. But the guy was a fucking idiot.
Yeah, no,
he didn't listen to anyone. He just and that's well documented. So I'm not saying anything that nobody else doesn't.
No. We've seen.
But if you get somebody like a Braith Priest, Braith Priest. You get somebody like a Damian Priest,
yes,
right? And he listens and he learns. Lashley's 40-something.
42.
42, right? So, he's not going to be around forever.
But he's still in bloody good nick.
Still in good nick, but he's not going to be around forever.
No, right? True.
So, this is a guy that you could definitely push and you can get a fair few years out of. You're not going to get, you might get another 10 years out of this guy. Look at all the mileage they got out of Cena.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think given that Bad Bunny was in the Royal Rumble, he'll accompany him to the ring, whoever he's against, and then obviously he'll get involved at some point.
And winner takes all. Like if he loses his US championship. If he wins the heavyweight championship.
Yeah, I can't see them putting him with Lashley yet.
Not yet. I'll build it to the end of the year.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking dream matches now. We're just talking shit.
Yeah.
So, what would you do? Because with Lashley at the moment, unless they sort this out on the
Saudi
Arabia show, it's not going to be a great match.
No.
It's going to have nothing to it.
There'll be very little build up and I'm thinking though probably $5 each way, either Owens or Rollins.
Yeah. Well, the only two obvious ones, aren't they? But it all depends though, because it's what is Lashley at the moment? Is he a heel or is he a face?
Well, he's technically a heel, but
he sacked the other two guys. He got jumped the last 2 weeks from the other two guys. He's come out situational. If you look at it, he didn't attack or he finished off the match and finished it off. He didn't really do anything heelish in that match.
It was almost like the highlight of that match was obviously didn't concern him. So, I don't know. It's hard to know.
Ref is down. He could have held him up and let Thing hit him with the belt. You know what I'm saying? He could have been more involved. But if you have a look at MVP and Lashley in that the end of that match, they didn't physically get involved. They just stood back, watched, and took the pin. Opportunistically won it. Right?
Well,
he almost tapped out to the hurt lock. If he didn't squash the ref between the turnbuckles and Lashley and that, he would have tapped out to the hurt lock.
Well,
Lesnar. So I don't know if they're trying to push him towards face Lashley or not. And MVP being more of a guidance and not being a heelish manager. I'm wondering if that's what they're looking at doing with Lashley. I'm confused. I mean, I'm watching as a person who's watched wrestling since 1984 and earlier than that, because I used to watch it on the old man's knee, watching WCW Australia. Right. In all the years of wrestling, I am actually confused on what is going on here. What do you reckon, Anthony?
As you said, what do you do with the WWE title? What do you do? You've got Reigns and Lesnar's been sorted out. That's been sorted out for months.
Yeah.
But then again, actually, wait, we're saying it's been sorted, but you can pick any title shot in that. He might not take Reigns. I mean, it's suicidal. Don't get me wrong. It's not great for booking. But what if they said no?
He already announced it, say on Raw.
Did they announce it on Raw, did they?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen it yet. I was going to say
seen it, yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's definitely going to be Lesnar and Reigns, yeah?
Yeah, and then they're putting Lashley in the chamber.
They're putting the champion in the chamber?
To defend it.
To defend it in the chamber?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
But they've also put Lesnar in the chamber as well.
Oh.
In that chamber?
Yeah.
So it ends up being title versus title.
Could possibly be.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it?
Ooh.
Yeah, that changes the whole direction of things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
See, this is good. This is the first time in about 5 years that we don't know what the fuck is going on. And as a fan, this is what you want.
That's not a bad thing, yeah. I mean, you said you've been watching the wrestling since when? 19 what?
Well, 1984 is when I remember.
Yeah, well, I started in 1968.
Apparently when I was a little bloke, I used to watch it on Dad's knee, but, the first recollection was WrestleMania, the first WrestleMania.
Well, 1968 I was watching, at 5 years old. And I must tell you that I've never been more confused than I am now. But
that's not a bad thing. As fans, that's not a bad thing.
That's what you want. Because before social media and the internet and all that, yeah, we didn't have all the leaks and the dirt sheets and all of that. So everything was, wow, because it just happened and you weren't thinking of what. I think one of the problems now is there's not really a lot of surprises. And they leak stuff to get public reaction to see whether it's going to work. So they purposely leak stuff to see, what's the reaction like? Is everyone jumping all over it? Yeah. Or, this will be shit. And then they go off it. See, there's a lot of that goes on these days as well.
Yeah, that's right. But what I'm liking at the moment is I don't know what's going to happen.
No,
I'm glad that I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm the same. I just want to. I hate sitting down watching the pay-per-view knowing, like or a lead up, and you already know everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I'm quite enjoying this. I'm quite enjoying the fact that I am in the dark over all of this.
All right. So what did we give the Rumble as we get ready to wrap up?
I gave it 5.5.
Yeah, I gave it a 6. Yeah.
So in 6.5, but
yeah, I gave it a 6. Highlights for the Rumble was Brock Lesnar coming in. Bad Bunny I wrote down as a highlight.
Yeah.
And the other highlight I wrote down was them ganging up on almost.
Almost.
Yeah, almost. Because that's how you get rid of a giant.
Absolutely.
They got that right. So they all ganged up on him and they got him out. So I think that was the way you get rid of a giant, a guy of that stature. And my questions that we've already sort of answered is what next for Lashley, what next for Reigns, what next for Brock. So we know what's next for Reigns and Brock, and what next for Lashley, you don't know.
Well, I think when we review not the Royal Rumble, when we review the Saudi Arabia one, we'll probably be able to come back with either a bit more definite in terms of what is going to happen or looks like happening, or we're just going to be even more confused than we are tonight.
Oh, how excited are we all right now for WrestleMania? I'm pretty excited. It's the first time since WrestleMania 25 that I've been this excited.
Yeah,
and I was disappointed at WrestleMania 25, so I hope it's a good WrestleMania.
I haven't started to get excited yet, but I think it's just the medication. But they told me that was a side effect. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I love WrestleMania, don't get me wrong. Because that's the pinnacle of our sport. Yeah, WrestleMania is the... But, yeah, at the AT&T Stadium, and I think they have expecting something like about 80, 90,000 or something. Massive atmosphere, WrestleMania, Texas.
That's right.
Stone Cold absolutely will be involved. I still think probably JBL and Booker T will have some part somewhere. So it'll be nice, I'm
still not convinced about the 2 nights. Anthony disagrees with me. I think one night could be one night.
I don't like
top 6 matches or top 8 matches or something. One night. Get it done, get it over and done with, and
I think the problem they had was trying to get everything they wanted to get in, but it became like a 5.5 hour show. That's too long.
It's too long.
Way too long.
2.5 to 3, maybe 3.5 tops for WrestleMania.
For WrestleMania, even if you went 4 hours,
and put your best matches and all your storylines should be there.
Creme de la creme. But that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the creme de la creme. I agree with you. I'm not a fan of the 2 nights, but who are we to sort of say anything? And
well, that's they're putting it on.
I think our opinion's going to sway WWE, but I would like to see maximum 4 hours, just the best of the best.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what it is. That's the showcase of the business. You don't want to put a match here and a match there to fill up 2 nights that theoretically you probably wouldn't really put, sort of thing, or a gimmicky match, or just put, as you said, 8, 9 matches over 4 hours, just the best of the best.
That's right. That's the way to do it.
And build your brand on that, where everyone goes, wow, every match.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's essentially how they built themselves. But anyway, It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what